The quest to obtain 4 of these large fidget spinners was extremely treacherous, involving multiple fake news, troll faces, and jump scares. What seems to be simple multiblocks turned out to take several days to establish. Initially, I thought this task would be low easy difficulty, as the core controller block only required stainless steel and supercomputers, which was easy. However, I was jump scared by the fact that I needed to obtain the actual casings for the turbine, which was real blue steel, not clickbait, aka trolling. While this metallic substance based off of the 1990 American neo-noir action thriller film seemed like a Herculean pain, it was actually only low hard difficulty, aka low easy difficulty. What was difficult was that I needed to make the EV hulls to make basically all the components, which required titanium, which meant I needed extreme gaming. However, titanium was actually also low easy difficulty. Just when I thought I was done, I realized that to fuel this, I would need some sort of fuel, and according to scientifically testable empirical analysis using user interface known as EMI, fuels originate from oil. However, I did not have a lot of oil. To obtain more oil, I would build the advanced fluid drilling rig too. While this seemed simple, it was not, because for some evil reason this stack of casings and frames required tungsten carbide, which requires tungsten, which I didn't have. To commence the obtaination of tungsten, I ordered my ME system to start the obtaination of various HV machines. After creating a setup using these aforementioned HV machines, I realized I actually needed EV machines. However, this was a paradox. EV power required these fidget spinners, but running these fidget spinners requires me to do processing of tungsten, which requires EV power. It's over. Just kidding. I could simply attach the EV machines to the HV power grid as though nothing happened, which was not a very smart strategy, but I am unable to think. This allowed me to actually build the advanced fluid drilling rig too. I thought that processing into LPG would take 10 geological eons and various complicated accoutrements. However, it was actually low easy difficulty. This was the first time something here did not take 500 gazillion steps. After this, I thought I had finished. However, I realized I needed the EV rotor holder and EV dynamo hatch, which I didn't have. To create the EV dynamo hatch, colored lens were required to engrave funny patterns on my newly obtained phosphorus-doped silicon wafers. To obtain the MPIC, aka medium power integrated circuit, after engraving MPIC wafers, I thought I could simply put it in HV cutter to obtain actual MPICs. However, the game said that I actually needed an EV cutter. This was so annoying. This game sucks. I attempted to reuse the strategy of being lazy and attaching the EV cutter to my HV mini power grid inside of the clean room, but this was also apparently illegal. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't power the EV cutter. This was trolling. However, I realized that this was because each machine could only accept 2 amps, which means it could accept 2 of the scrumptious HV amps, which translates to 0.5 EV amps. However, the cutting of MPIC wafers apparently needed 0.94 EV amps. How should I solve this? While I expected some disastrous detriment to spontaneously manifest in front of my eyes, all that was needed was a transformer transforming HV amps into EV amps, which allowed the machine to accept more power and cut the MPICs. Step 2. I needed an extreme voltage coil. However, this required a HV assembling machine. I was extremely annoyed by all of these jump scares and annoying fake news, so I ordered my ME system to make a EV assembler. I accepted various detrimental causes, such as short circuits, explosions, and destruction of Omniverse to occur. However, the machine powered itself normally. This allowed me to obtain the EV dynamo hatch, of which I made 4 of so I could use on 4 fidget spinners. The next step was to create the EV rotor holder, which required titanium small gears, aka easy, EV machine hulls, aka easy, and ultimate gears, aka not easy, except that was fake news, because ultimate was a simple alloy. What was not simple is that the ultimate would take an eternity to smelt. However, I had my ways. You may have noticed this auxiliary visual and audio information perception device below the minimap in the screenshot of the 4 fidget spinners. This was a special device that allowed me to enjoy watching furry animations while having to wait 2 geological eons for insert randominga to smelt, which was greatly helpful. After some time of extreme waiting, the EV-rotor holder was obtained, which did not have additional complications because it could be made in the crafting table. At last, I could assemble the 4 fidget spinners. However, the game used a troll face law strategy because the fidget spinners did not actually form. Why is this? How is this? This is trolling. This was until I realized I couldn't place hatches on the edges of the turbine, so I simply moved it to the top, bottom of the turbines. At last, with no more trolling, jump scares, or fake news, the 4 fidget spinners formed. I put in the LPG that I have created into the input hatches, and nothing happened. This was because I needed actual turbine rotors as well as the rotor holders, which I didn't have. After some intense spectrogram analysis of the stats of different rotors, I chose the humorous rose gold turbine rotor, because it gave the turbine ability to run at 170% efficiency, saving precious fuel. However, when I looked at the recopies, I realized I needed 328 rose gold ingots to assemble the 4 turbine rotors. Gaming analysis shows that my current EBF Hell monstrosity chamber can smelt 1 rose gold ingot every 6.25 seconds, and according to mathematics, 328 times 6.25 seconds equals 2050 seconds. This was around half an hour. This was not true gaming. However, I could simply wait out the time by watching furry animations with a special auxiliary visual and audio information perception device, which is very fun, due to artist Kikawasupa being extremely peak. However, after a mild amount, being 0.5 hours, of waiting, I finally created the turbine rotors and put them in. I expected some other bit of trolling to commence, but the 4 fidget spinners actually starting running, with no problems. This was when I saw that the turbines took a while to reach max performance, aka 2A at F/T, which was 8A at F/T for the 4 fidget spinners. However, something was wrong. My LPG production wasn't keeping up. How is this? My gaming calculations have shown that the LPG production should be fine. I thought that this was due to some massive design flaw that would eventually result in the obliteration of my base. However, the true reason was that my LPG manufacturing sector was clogged by methane, which I simply exiled from existence using the voiding function of super tanks. After several grueling amounts of gaming, trolling, trollface, furries, procrastination, fake news, and stupidity, I have obtained 4 fidget spinners and ended my quest for maybe the second most expensive big fidget spinners in the pack.